All right, today let's talk Mesquite, Texas. We're gonna talk the good, the bad, everything in between, why you should or should not move to Mesquite. From somebody who was born here, was raised here, who grew up here all of his life, want to take you on a tour, give you a couple pro tips, some things you might need to know, things you might want to look out for if you're considering moving to Mesquite, Texas. On your mark, get set, let's go. So the city of Mesquite as a whole, population around 154,000 people based on the census from a couple of years ago, which makes it like the 21st largest city in Texas. So not bad, plenty of populace. So with that kind of populace, you are gonna have lots of shops and restaurants, lots of chains. You've got what we refer to as Restaurant Row just off 635, where you've got a ton of different restaurants, shopping. You've got Town East Mall, which is definitely not near as nice as North Park Mall or Shops at Legacy or any of those other places, but it's a mall and it functions. So you do have that, major grocery chains, Walmart, Albertsons, Kroger, Tom Thumb, all of those things. The city as a whole, I think, is going through a little bit of a revitalization project. For good or bad, I think they've had a reputation in the city of Mesquite over the last decade or so, and I think they're trying to change the persona a little bit. I mean, I'm standing in downtown and there's some, they're revamping some things, they're redoing some things. So they're trying to honor the history of the city, but also I think grow into the next decade and decades to come. I will say, I think there was a time when the city probably didn't have the best planning for the city, because I think the way it's laid out there, like the further north you go, the more shops and restaurants there are, and then of course the further south you go, you start getting into where there's hardly any shops, restaurants, and grocery stores. I'm going to show you that. So that's just something to be mindful of, but I think they're trying to rework some of that, maybe figure out some planning, do some things to make the city, to put themselves back on the market, right? To be competitive as a place where people want to come live, that can't maybe afford to get to Rockwall or can't afford to get to Frisco, or that they want to kind of revamp themselves as a place that's great for families, as a place to build and grow, and a place for opportunity. So again, as somebody who grew up here, I love the potential. I love what Mesquite is going to become. I think I'm excited about the plans that they have. It's just something to be mindful of. You're going to see a lot of older neighborhoods. Really, I mean, Mesquite really boomed in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and so you're going to see a lot of those neighborhoods, which is honestly going to make things really quite affordable. We'll talk about it later in the video. We'll run the MLS, do the stats and things like that. So a lot of older neighborhoods, a lot of redevelopment and some things like that. So some opportunity to find something and make it your own and not spend an arm and a leg. So that's good. And also an opportunity to find things that are being made new. So not a bad place to think about here in Mesquite. So one of the big things Mesquite is known for is the rodeo. Championship Rodeo. A lot of people come and talk about it, and it's a big deal. It's right here off the highway, but as a whole, I mean, Mesquite is so much more than just the rodeo. There's a lot of really neat, I don't know if we call it revitalization or growth, new development happening right here along the rodeo. Off the highway, there's talks of, shops and restaurants and things like that, similar to what you would see Parks at Legacy in Plano. I don't know how well it's gonna work here in Mesquite, to be honest, but I think there's some money being spent to develop that. So I think there's some really cool potential. One of the good things about living here in Mesquite is with where it's located. So you've got easy access to Highway 80, 30, 20, and 635. So there's plenty of highway access to get pretty much anywhere you want to go. You can get into downtown if you want. You can get to Plano or Frisco. If you've got to commute to work, you can get to Rockwall relatively easy, barring the construction. There's shopping and restaurants in Mesquite. So anywhere you want to get to in the Metroplex, you can get there relatively fast from Mesquite. You can also get out of the Metroplex quickly, 80 to 20, get out to Terrell, easily get out to East Texas. If you've got land out there, you're hunting, or you just want to get away. So you're kind of on that edge of the Metroplex really to get out going that direction. Of course, you can't come to Mesquite without stopping and grabbing some barbecue, a Mesquite barbecue. It's some of the best. They've been around since forever. I think, sign says 1959. Some of the best barbecue you'll ever find. A little bitty mom and pop shop. So if you find yourself in Mesquite, if you're moving to Mesquite, Mesquite Barbecue is the place to go to grab some barbecue. So pro tip on that one. All right, so I'm standing in the shadow of Hamby Stadium, Mesquite High School, my old stomping grounds, Skeet Skeeter, whoop whoop. Hey, Don't knock the Skeeter. It's a mosquito. It's terrifying. It was voted like a terrifying mascot. I don't know. But all that to be said, when it comes to schools in Mesquite ISD, you're looking at close to, I think it's 50 campuses that they have now, which services over 38,000 students. And one of those campuses, so 6 high schools, with the newest one being the Vanguard High School, which is their career and technical center. It's a really neat program. A lot of school districts are adding. Mesquite opened theirs a couple years ago. It's got some great alternate certifications, for students that say, hey, you know what, maybe traditional schooling is not the best route for me. I want to get a fire certification. I want to get a construction certification, all mechanical, cosmetology, all of that stuff. They've kind of rounded up and housed it in that campus in Vanguard and built it on the south of Mesquite. So it's open for enrollment for any student in Mesquite ISD. School district as a whole ranks in the top 20% of school districts here in Texas. So, it's not going to be one of those super high districts, like Carroll or Rockwall or Sunnyvale or Frisco, but it's not at the bottom either. So they're doing a lot to take care of their students, advance education. Class sizes run roughly about 15 or 16 to 1, which is pretty on par for the North Texas area. So school district wise, again, I got a Mesquite education. It turned out all right. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So just be mindful of that as you're thinking about family planning and moving to Mesquite. One other thing to note, that's a kind of an aside on this one, is Mesquite ISD services Balch Springs as well, or at least parts of Balch Springs. So if you're like looking and thinking maybe Balch Springs is going to be the thing, there's parts of that are serviced by Mesquite ISD. So just be mindful as you're looking at homes and planning here in Mesquite. So as far as new construction goes in Mesquite, there's really 2 major places that it's happening. One is right here off of 635 and Military. This is Iron Horse Village. You've got Guillen, Matnamy, and DR Horton building here. Sorry, it's a little loud. This is a construction zone. So you've got single family homes like what you can see behind me. Over there, you can see the DR Horton, I don't know if we call those duplexes, townhomes, and then just over on the other side right here, Matnamy is building what they call row homes. Think like Bishop Arts townhome style, but like with a little bit of space in between them. So this is one of the big new construction areas that's happening. The rodeo is right back that way, kind of where that shops project is going in. Where you've got lots of fast food restaurants, again, quick, easy access to the highway. West Mesquite High School is right over here, so that's where this would be Zone 4. So this is one of the major new construction things that's happening here in Mesquite. There's not a lot going on the far north side by the mall. There's a few micro projects, but nothing super big in terms of neighborhoods. And then there's one other major area we're going to head over to in a second, and I'm going to show you that the new construction is booming out that way, but it might not be the best spot. So just kind of hang tight. We'll get there. I'll tell you why that might not be the best place to go if you're thinking about Mesquite. All right, if you're wanting new construction in Mesquite, we talked about what's happening over by 635 and Iron Horse Village. Really the only other place new construction is happening in Mesquite is way out here I say way out, it's really not way out, South Mesquite. So I am in a neighborhood right off of Cartwright. So if you're looking at a map and you're watching Cartwright and it's coming all the way down, all of this 5-10 years ago was literally farmland, cornfields, things like that. But really once you get to right there at Cartwright and you start coming back down toward Lawson and 20, there is a ton of new development happening out here. Mesquite ISD just opened a new middle school out here, right past Horn High School. There's a couple of elementary schools that have opened out this direction, and a couple more slated to come this direction. The Vanguard, the career technical school we talked about, is kind of out this direction. So this is where all the new development is happening in Mesquite. This is a Bloomfield Chestmark model home community. You can kind of see give you a little bit of a tour around here. We'll definitely come back out and walk through these model homes, show you what you got cooking out here. I think the last I looked, these are going to be a little bit more on the pricey side. So these are the 4 and 5, and even potentially up to $600,000 homes, which is weird to me as somebody who grew up in Mesquite, because there's a lot of like older stuff in Mesquite, like you think about like around Mesquite Valley and things like that are really, really pretty beautiful homes. So the thought that, we have new construction in Mesquite right now in that $500,000 and $600,000 range is kind of mind-boggling to me, kind of blows my mind. But obviously people are paying it and the city's growing. So you want new construction, this is where you're gonna have to be, probably in Mesquite. I will tell you one of the downsides, this far south, we were talking earlier about city planning. Currently there are not a lot of grocery stores and shops out here. There is one Kroger and there is one Tom Thumb, and it services this whole like south side of Mesquite. So definitely no major restaurants. So that is a downside of moving way out here to the south. There was talks years and years ago of adding some commercial development. I don't know for sure if the city has gotten some things approved. I hope they have, with the amount of homes they're building. So you're kind of on a food island, so to say. I mean, so there's Kroger and there's a Tom Thumb. They're kind of far apart and they're servicing a lot of families. So a lot of people, you know, and there's not really an easy way to get back to the other side of Mesquite. It's what a lot of people are doing that live out this way. They're just hopping on 20 or 80 and making the drive to like Forney or Terrell and doing a lot of their shopping, restaurant and dining out that way. So hopefully the city figures out a game plan for that and help some families out here. But again, that's just something to be mindful of and be aware of if you're thinking about moving, especially out here to South Mesquite. This is zoned Horn High School, so another thing to be mindful of as you're looking at schools in Mesquite. Okay, and let's break and look at the MLS data for Mesquite and kind of just see what's available, what's out there. Because Mesquite honestly is going to be super affordable. You're gonna have pockets of things that are kind of cheap. You're gonna have pockets of things that are kind of expensive. We've also got a lot of like revitalization happening. So properties being bought, renovated and flipped, and then posted on the market. So here we go with what's on the market in Mesquite. So currently active listings, which means no contracts, not contingent, nothing like that you could look at. Active listings in Mesquite is 200 single family homes, 258. Active listings as of the time of recording this video. If we drop out new construction and we just go to pre-owned, we go from 258 to 186. So there's a lot of building happening. We've talked a little bit about where they're building and the pros and cons of what's being built in Mesquite. So just so you know, so 186. So we'll add that back in, and then let's kind of take a look at our map, and you can kind of see pocket-wise where everything is happening in Mesquite. There's a lot going on in this in between 80/20 and 635. That's the bulk of where housing tends to be in Mesquite. There's, like I said, there's a little bit up here to the north side, but there's a lot going on here in South Mesquite. A lot of this right in here is gonna be, so there's a lot of the new construction stuff happening right over in here. But let's just take a look, because I want you to see again the affordability. If you're thinking about moving to Mesquite, what your money could get you. So for example, let's take a look at this house right here. So this is a 3-bed, 1-bath, 936 square feet, listed at $240. It's been recently renovated, so this would make a great home if you're looking at like as a first-time home buyer. This could potentially be a really good thing. You know, it's been renovated, nice older neighborhood, quiet. And you can see they've staged it, replaced flooring. Really quite simple. Again, 936 square feet. And it's listed at $240. There's some affordability things for sure in Mesquite. Let's look at a couple other things. Let's maybe get into a little bit more expensive and just kind of see. So $245. Let's go to page 4. So page 4, like of our search results, we're still in the 200s. So you're seeing a lot of things here. Let's try this one. Older home, again, looks like it's been renovated. A little bit of land space. So what you're seeing in Mesquite is a lot of these older homes are being bought by investors, and they're being gutted and renovated and then resold, but still, in that affordable range. So they actually had this one listed at $345. They've since dropped it to $298. So they were probably a little overpriced on that one, to be honest. But then of course, again, if you were like, hey, I have a ton of money to spend, and we went to the top end of our budget, let's look at that. So you've got one home currently priced above $1 million at $2.6 million. There's a few in the $500,000 and $600,000 range, but these are actually new construction. So this is some Bloomfield homes happening out in far south Mesquite. So they're in that 600 range. So again, affordability, super affordable when it comes to Mesquite. And then of course, if we look at our stats, you've got median sales price. Let's see, in April 2022, median sales price was $304,000. In October, it was $290,000. And that is based on, let's see, there were 96 closed sales in October of 2022. 96 for an average price right at $290,000. So again, if you're looking at Mesquite, your money's going to go far. You're going to have, you have the potential to get a lot of house, or enough house for not a lot of money. So just be mindful of that as you're thinking about what it could be like to move into Mesquite. One of the things that Mesquite has done really well is maintaining a Parks and Rec department. So there's several different parks here in the city. I'm currently at City Lake Park, so you got the pond. So Parks and Rec and youth sports have been kind of one of the, I would say, positive pieces for Mesquite. You know, several parks, they're really invested because they do have a lot of younger families, because the school district is big and you know it's affordable to live here. They do have really good youth sports, so baseball, football, soccer. You know, they've got a partnership with Dallas College, Eastfield campus. They have major soccer fields there. They're working with the school district to put in, to redo some like swimming pools to kind of get to where they have more competitive swim teams for the high schools. So lots of really good things going on there. As far as like, you're not going to find a lot of nightlife. You know, no bars, no clubs, nothing like that. But again, if you want that, you're close enough to Dallas to where you could get there, get that relatively easy. Safety wise, you know, I'm not sure how large the police force is, but it's probably 100 officers or so, several different divisions. I think they're up to 7 fire departments, so they're pretty well spread out. So if something were to happen, I feel like you'd be taken care of. In Dallas County, so you're going to have a little bit lower property taxes, so that is helpful. And again, when you pair that with the affordability, that is really one of those things that you could probably check off in the plus category for thinking about moving to Mesquite. Well, hey, I hope this was helpful today. If you're thinking about moving to Mesquite, there's a lot of great opportunity. My hometown, so it always has a special place in my heart. Some really affordability that we've talked about. A great place if you're thinking maybe you don't want to move here, but maybe you want to buy a rental property. This could be a great place to look at buying rental property as well. So we've talked about affordability, we've talked about the good stuff, we talked about food, we've talked about school district. Anything else I can help you with in Mesquite? We didn't talk about Devil's Bowl Speedway, so if you're looking for dirt track racing, there's that. There's a regional, a tiny like single engine plane airport way out off Lawson, so there's that. If you want land, there's land. Mesquite could be an option. It's definitely affordable. It's definitely a convenient location. There are some downsides we talked about. So as always, if I can help you in any way, buy, sell, build, new construction, Mesquite, or anywhere else here in the Metroplex, my contact information, it'll be down below. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Reach out. I'd love to help you and your family. I'd love to be an advocate, answer any questions, be on your side, and let's have fun along the way. So we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.